All right, we have 6:30. We'll call the Mayor September 12th, 2022 regular city council meeting to order. If we could please start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, do we have any additions to the agenda tonight?
Mayor Dodge, I would like to add a special consideration to work from home this Wednesday.
All right. If so approved, we will add the city clerk work from home on Wednesday, 14th of September to 6D. Any other additions to the agenda?
No, I have questions on the consent. We're good.
Okay. With that, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now we'll open for public comments. If there's anyone who would like to discuss anything that is not on the agenda, please come forward. If you don't mind stating your name and address for the record, that'd be great.
Yes, my name is Susie Poplar. My husband Mike and I live at 120 Fifth Street Northeast. I'll try to keep this brief. I think most people are, or some of you are familiar with why I'm here. I'm here about the cat population issue on Fifth Street specifically, and kind of the question and concern what the ordinance and enforcement is here in the city regarding that. The city and CSO are well aware of it. Letters to that resident were sent a year ago and again about 2 months ago for the same issue. According to city code, from what I can find, the owner has 7 days to respond, proving vaccinations and compliance, but in all the time, going back a year, nothing has changed. About a year ago, there were 10 to 15 cats at the property. Now there are probably 30 to 40 taking over the neighborhood. So cats might not seem like a big deal, but when you're stepping in it on your property and cleaning it up from your property, and it's a nuisance. It's a nuisance and they're taking over. In the process of working through everybody, the CSO has says that the city doesn't have animal control, so there's only so much they can do. The city, we've talked to Luann a few times. She's been responsive to us. Her last recommendation was to call the Humane Society. The Humane Society puts it back on the city. That they said, for one, that what they told me is that the city doesn't have a regulatory ordinance in place for cats like they do dogs. But what I found online, it seems like everything for dogs and cats, it seems like they are the same thing. They are treated the same manner. So I guess I'm just trying to find out what the options are. You know, we have a dog ourselves. We keep on our property. We clean up after her, everything else. We've had a pet for 18 years and we've never had issues in our yard of stepping in it, coming across it. Now we do. And these cats, you know, like I said, they've pretty much doubled in the last year. There was just a segment on the news last week on Brooklyn Park that they're dealing with like 200 cats, which I see that's almost where we're going if we don't do something to get these under control, because there's more to come. And we're not seeing any change, and we'd like to know what can possibly be done about it, because it's really a nuisance. And if it was happening on other people's property, I know some of our neighbors have issues and it's up to them to bring it up, but I know they've damaged pool. One of the cats has attacked another dog on their property and things like that too. And we just have to really be careful of our dog now, because you can smell it, it's there. And so we've heard they're carrying fleas. We know they're not vaccinated. So we need some kind of ordinance and an enforcement. It seems the ordinance isn't being enforced, because they should have gotten 7 days after this letter a year ago and another 2 months ago. They're supposed to be proving vaccination and that they're within, I mean, from what I found here, three is a limit for pets, for cats or dogs, but then it even says something about an exception where even up to 5. Well, I tell you what, 5 would be a blessing. I mean,
There are certain exceptions that we allow that they have to come to council.
Sure, yeah.
Their case.
Yeah, and I understand that there could be exceptions, but this is just getting out of control. And I hope we don't end up in the news like Brooklyn Park, that we can figure something out before that. Because like I said, I worry about our dog and we're cleaning up the mess from behind our house. We've told the neighbor we're bringing it back, we're delivering it back to them because they're not doing anything about it. But what are we subjecting ourselves to too when these cats aren't taken care of? And I mean, we see traffic regularly have to stop for them because they're in the middle of the road, they're laying in the road, they're laying in the driveway all day, they're coming on over. So I'd like to know where the responsibility truly lies between what the CSO says, what the Humane Society says, what can we do to enforce it?
The city can obviously take some, not accountability, but we can take some direction.
Sure.
Just first, so people understand, public comments are typically just to relay things to council. They're not back and forth discussions.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Understood.
Take into consideration
Yep.
and follow up. So.
Yep. And that's fine.
People are
That's
aware of
fine.
it.
I just felt like this
But-
needed to be more than just a conversation
I've
with the
been
city
I've been
administrator.
aware of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our city administrator is on vacation today. So
Sure.
I don't know where things stand
Yep.
with her now.
Okay.
I can tell you she'll be back Wednesday. I've heard of this problem. She's let me know about it. I've seen some of the emails.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, we will get together. There was some not disagreement, but there was some miscommunication between one of the deputies and the CSO to the city. So we had some miscommunication. They weren't
Sure.
sure if a citation was issued or not, but I can tell you, we will meet with the administrator on Wednesday. I'll talk to her.
Okay.
And we'll make sure to get a hold of the sheriff and find out what can we do immediately that it's out of hand. And
Right.
and I agree, it's out of hand.
Yeah. Okay.
There was just some disconnect there. and
Yep.
We're trying to work that out. I don't know if she's heard back, and I don't want to
Sure.
speak for her and miss maybe.
Yep.
she heard
Yep.
back.
Understood.
It's been out since Thursday,
Yeah.
but I know she was working on it, so.
Right.
We'll let
Yep.
her know, or the city clerk or myself. will
Yeah.
let the administrator know.
Okay.
We'll get answers. We'll make sure she gets back to you.
Sure,
so you
okay.
know what's going on and where we
Yep.
stand.
And I didn't come here necessarily expecting resolution, like as
Nope.
you know, it takes more than one person. I know the city administrator can't do it all, but we'd like to see something done sooner rather than, and I like animals. I just,
Just too many.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
we know for sure that a letter was sent to them recently?
yeah.
Because
Yes.
I didn't get it.
Yes.
That we do know. I didn't get. it.
Well, no,
I
that
don't
was
know if she
the-
sent us a copy,
That
but-
was the clutter letter.
And the dog, the barking dog, but I did not receive a letter that was sent. I mean, I live on 4th Street and this is the first I'm hearing of it, so I
Okay. Yeah.
apologize that I'm
Yeah.
not.
Well, and my
in the loop, but-
understanding from a renter there is that the letter has been disregarded because he doesn't believe the city truly sent it. But I mean, that's hearsay. But so why there hasn't been any action? But my understanding from some family members is they did get a letter here maybe 2 months ago. And again, they got one a year ago because we got blamed for that. We had a nasty note left on our property about that letter.
There are some limitations.
And I don't know what was
We
down
wanna
there.
leave Residents out of it and let the city deal it. So
Exactly.
residents have been in a
Yeah.
situation with
Yep.
their neighbors, right? So,
Right.
but we'll definitely follow up. We'll amp this up a bit and
Yep.
make sure the sheriff involved if we need to, and speak with him and the deputy and what can
Yeah.
we do to get this resolved.
Sure.
It's a citation every day, and
Mhm.
that doesn't resolve it either if they're not.
Right.
if they're ignoring them. Somehow we got to get in there and get those cats out of there.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
There was one other organization I know Luann was going to contact and talk with them to see if they could help. versus
Sure.
the Humane Society.
Yep, yep. Because when the Humane Society called me back and said this, I said, well, maybe you can call our city about that because our city is, if our city is telling us to call the Humane Society and they're putting it back on the city. So,
You should hear something back.
Yeah.
From our city administrator. She should at least
Okay.
follow up, let you know what we're doing.
appreciate that.
We'll get some meetings set up. and
Okay.
Get this going. But please
Great.
keep in touch.
Yeah.
If anything
Okay.
is ready.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll move to consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent that needs to be pulled for further discussion?
So I don't
Or a quick question?
think that the present is accurate. We had Bjorn Ricky here to talk about
Oh.
that. We had Mr. Butcher was here, Stephen Linnea Getz were here.
For the regular meeting?
Well, they
For the
sat through
minutes-
the
For the
right,
minutes of the
yeah,
council meeting? Is
yeah.
that- You're talking about number one,
yeah.
or?
So I'm just talking about
Number
who was
three.
present and then who was also present. There was far more people than,
Some of that we go by the sign-in sheet and
okay,
correct Janelle, and if they didn't sign in on the
Okay.
sign-in sheet, we can't.
okay.
um,
So even though they
some of us may know
participated
who they
in,
are, but the city clerk may not know who their names are, and that's, so we go by who signs. We try to catch people, but some may have slipped in. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
And
okay, well,
leave
we,
them as is, then we don't adjust them, correct?
so even though in number 1, we have a conversation with Mr. Ricky,
Ricky, with Bjorn.
yeah,
And
Okay.
It's in there, so it'll show that they were there. I'll let,
Yeah, if you want, I can certainly add that. I don't think that's out of the norm to add him up.
Okay. Whatever you think is appropriate, I'll let you decide.
so we just have to be better with getting them to sign in
Yeah,
is the,
yeah.
okay,
We should maybe get a little bit bigger of a sign up there. It's, please sign in, hanging on the wall or something. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Are you okay with that?
yep.
Okay. With that, then I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition of Bjorn Ricky added to the August 31st city council. Was it the 31st or 22nd?
22nd.
The 22nd city council minutes.
I guess I did have one more question. Sorry. So Chad, did you say that you had residents asking about the golf cart in town, or you were just asking to have it put on the agenda?
I was asking.
Because it says that you stated you've been approached by a few residents, and I thought that was not what we had said. That we had not heard from any residents.
No, I said I had seen some
Residents
driving around.
using it. And I think, right, Mike, didn't you ask if we had residents asking? And those were my 2
That's
questions.
the same. Number 1.
That's number 2.
That's number 2. All right, then I'll look for motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition of Bjorn Ricky to item number 1 and strike that Councilmember Health was approached by residents about golf carts on number 2.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. With that, we will move right into 6A1, the approval of resolution 9-12-2022-27, allowing the EDA levy, the proposed EDA levy. So with that, we're all updated on that at our last work session. We had talked about it, of adding that in for the EDA. So unless there's any other questions or clarifications needed on that one?
Not from me.
If not, I'll look for a motion to approve resolution 9-12-2022-27.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? My only comment with that is, and I think I commented on the work session, is I think maybe once our new administrator starts in August, October, he can maybe work with the EDA and try to get a little vision of what they want to do with the money, maybe some goals set and some of those things. So that's my only comment. Anything else? So with that, I'll look for a motion, or all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. That will take us to the Public Works. Kyle, if you want to come up and, oh, there's nothing on Public Works, I'm sorry. Thank you. 6C, Fire Department, update on the DNR grant award. Chief Metzold.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, we had back in June, I believe, asked about applying for a DNR grant for dual-purpose technical rescue and wildland gear. So we sent that grant into the DNR. We did receive that grant. We received that grant for $5,000. I know on there, Luann had the it put down there on, it wasn't a 10% match, it was a 50-50 match. They gave us $5,000. So we at least got to match that $5,000. For what I totally asked for was 28 sets of it, which totaled $16,775.08. So then, with that grant, that would leave our portion at $11,775.08. What this gear would be used for wildland firefighting, any technical rescue, car accidents, items like that, where we're not going in and doing any structural firefighting gear. It was going to be a lot lighter weight, cooler for the guys to be wearing out when we're, like I said, not doing a structural firefighting. It is flame resistant and stuff like that. That's why it's allowed for wildland stuff. So I guess I'm asking to get the cover the additional $11,775.08. And I think as we talked then about, taking that out of the capital improvement.
That's a healthy fund with Luann being out,
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm wondering if we can use some of the aid money that we got to pay for that. So
Yeah, if you've got no other purposes for that right now.
we maybe can earmark that in or get reimbursement for that. So maybe we'll have Luann look into that too. So, all right, with that, any questions for Chief Metzold?
And is there 28 active?
Right now, yes, I have 28 active.
So you asked for one okay. And you said that you knew it was a 50-50 match, but it was presented.
Yeah, I knew it was a 50-50 match, but that's what it was. She had just gone off of other grants and stuff like that, and under the notion it was like the FEMA grant, for instance, was a 10% match.
With that, I'll look for a motion to approve $11,775.08 to fulfill the funds needed to get the equipment required that was requested in the grant.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move to 6D. City Clerk, work from home on Wednesday, September 14th.
Here in council, I'm asking for a special consideration to work from home this Wednesday. For personal reasons that carried over from last week. Luann will be back on Wednesday, and that will allow me to be home, where I'll be able to focus and complete some responsibilities that I'll need to get done before I leave on vacation.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I'll look for a motion to approve the city clerk to work from home on Wednesdays, September 14th.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. City council reports. Councilmember Melender, anything to report on?
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Wagner.
Nothing.
Councilmember McNeely.
Nope.
Councilmember Helt.
Not at this time.
And I have nothing either. I do not believe I've had a meeting since our last city council meeting. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming. We're gonna have a work session if anyone wants to stick around. Feel free. Thanks, Andy. So with that, we'll call the work session to order. With that, we have a discussion. With that, we have a discussion to connect to water and sewer for the lot on 62nd Street. And we have Jeff Whalen from Bolton and Menk here. Jeff, if you want to start out and give us what we had. Everyone's aware of the meeting. We're looking at what we can do with the Drew property that's on the south side of 60, at the end of 62nd Street, the one on the empty lot on the south side. And we were looking to get water sewer there as it's already part of the city.
Thank you, Mayor Dodge, members of the council. I am Jeff Wyant with Bolton and Mink. I'm filling in for Dave tonight. So did you get a memo with a map?
Yeah.
Okay. So as the mayor said, we looked at a cost to get water to the south end of 62nd, the vacant lot. We looked at a couple different options, but the best option we came up with is to extend water main off the end of 4th through the city property.
Could you scroll up just a little bit, Janelle? Thank you.
There we go. And we do come up with an estimated cost of roughly $137,000. That does include engineering and a 10% contingency. So if we did decide to go this route, we would probably bid this project as an open cut or a drilling project. I believe the cost will be similar, but we can bid it both ways and see what
And
happens.
what's the difference of the two?
So open cut, we'd be out there with a backhoe. Open cutting, you'd have to dewater, you have restoration, trench rock, things like that. Drilling, they would just set up on one end and drill through. There wouldn't be any restoration. So the drilling's more expensive, but when you factor in the restoration and the trench rock and the dewatering for open cut, they're probably going to be pretty close.
And at our last meeting, we had talked about bringing it in closer. It was there, what was the rationale for not? I mean, we weren't talking about connecting to 4th Street. I think he was talking up
Ridge.
Ridge
somewhere off of
Road.
Ridge Road.
So off of Ridge Road, so if you look at the map there, initially we thought this was a water main. Okay, a main, and it's not, it's a water service. So there is a T in here for us to come out to the road and connect, but you'd have to tear up the road, you have the concrete driveway there, it's just, and in fighting the water service, where we don't know exactly where that is, it was just a better option to come off of 4th.
So would that be water and sewer?
So the sewer, there's already a force main extended down the property line back here.
That's a private line, correct?
So we would have to take that over. If we
So
were
it-
gonna hook another property into it, and that cost is included in this $137,000 to connect that property to the force main, but we would have to take that over then.
It is included in the,
It is, the cost is included to connect that.
okay.
This is water to both properties then?
This would be water to both properties.
And what does that look like for anybody else on 62nd Street for future?
So in the future, we would have to extend off of this main to the north to start connecting other properties.
So
Would this eventually make that loop?
And then it would eventually loop. Yep, correct.
So nothing would have to be if we annex in and do all of 62nd, none of this would have to be redone.
No,
does this put us in a better position if we annex in 62nd Street?
yes.
What is our assessment, like, if we were doing this? Because there would have to be some, like, the homeowners would have to pay for at least a portion of this, if not all of it. I'm not interested in the city spending $137,000 for 2 houses out of our pocket.
So that's the
Or-
estimated cost, and then we have to decide, do we assess it all or just a portion of it?
On assessing it right now, that's only two properties.
And they're the same person, yeah, I mean,
That I can't imagine. Yes.
Right.
Or-
But it's not
or-
fair for us to just provide that to them and never assess where we assess everybody else for a project like this when we do a sewer and a water hookup.
Right.
Like when Ridge Road was redone, I had to pay to hook up sewer and water and get that all redone and pay for that. Now, I granted, I had 50 homes to divide that. Well, actually, I paid that single hookup line fee.
And I know we talked about us being the bank, doing it, and then charging people as it, but it's still, again, we're not
thing
doing the
is-
entire project, so we can't group the entire project.
Right, but the thing is, I could see us paying for the water line to get over there. For the fact that at some point, we're gonna annex in those properties and then charge him a hookup fee for both of the properties. Cause that water main's not, now that's gonna be the supply line for the whole 62nd Street if it's annexed in.
If.
I know it's an if,
Yeah.
So we're 10,000 less with our hookup fees.
But we were talking about if we were annexing 62nd Street, bringing it in off of Fieldstone, I thought.
And that was
I think that's-
140.
So that was to make the loop.
I think
Right
that's
now,
where it goes.
Fieldstone's an island, right?
Yes.
yes.
So,
But again, so we don't have to do this if we annex 62nd Street, and this is just a solution
no,
for
I
the
think we would
property.
have to,
This water main would go in either way.
Okay.
Okay.
because this would
We
create
wouldn't
the
come off
loop.
of 62nd or
We would, but we would want to complete the loop.
See, that's what I'm saying as far as cost wise with the city and trying to work with, I don't know.
I would be comfortable being the bank, if you will, and to Chad's point, do it today for those two properties. They get charged hookup fees, knowing in the future when we do the whole project, they're going to have another 40,000 each on each they're going to have their share,
Right, assess,
including that,
right.
at the time. I mean, I could possibly get on board with that, but that's still $10,000 that we need for the hookup fee. Well, 10,000 for each property.
But 20,000 is a heck of a lot better than 140,000.
Right. But knowing, I mean, there'd have to be something, and then if the property sells, how that works,
I was-
I don't know. I mean,
Right.
That's what I was gonna
yeah,
say.
I
How
don't-
do you,
But can't you assess it like we normally do, assess that part, and if they can't have the cash to pay it, then it goes on their property tax as an assessment, and then at the sale of your home, a lot of times those assessments have to be paid during the sale
That's
of the
how,
home.
yeah, that's how it works, but we don't know the assessment amount.
Well-
You know what, if we're gonna hook them all in and then kind of give everyone that, hey, when you hook in, it's gonna cost this much. Well, we do the same, but he's already hooked in, so, but he still has to, you should still have to pay that amount, you know what I mean? Well, the property, I mean,
Whoever the property owner.
whoever the
is.
property owner is, or a trust or whoever, I mean, it's gonna have to come out of, it'll have to come out of there eventually when it sells. I mean, some property, I'm assuming.
before this 4th Street deal.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run it down the 5 houses off of 62nd and Fieldstone, and that would complete the loop.
Wait,
We
what's
even
that?
talked about.
I can't hear.
4th Street.
So the question was completing the loop. My understanding was the plan was we were going to come off of Ridge Road and go up to Fieldstone. That would complete the loop. Going to Ridge Road now is not an option, so
Right.
we decided to come off 4th to complete the loop.
But the loop can't be completed until those other properties are annexed in. This
Correct.
would just be one section of it would already have been completed now, and then whenever that annexation happens, we would actually have part of that project already completed.
And they would be assessed as such at a later date.
I mean, I'm just not comfortable with the city paying that much money for two properties.
I agree with that.
I
agree
understand that
with
there's
that too.
financial hardship, but that's not the city's responsibility
Right.
for that property. I would be like on board with what Mike was saying is they are assessed the hookup fees that a normal project like this would cover. Because the hookup fee is individual by home. It's not necessarily, and it might even be cheaper now for them to have that now than wait 5 to 7 years. The other hookup fees might have gone up. And then the difference, whatever that is, that's what's held and then will be assessed once it's the properties are annexed in, but we don't know when that ever will be.
Right, if,
If,
I mean,
because right now it doesn't look too promising.
right. So there'd have to be something in there that if it doesn't happen, here's your amount. If it does happen, you have to pay your share like everyone else has, you know. I don't know how we did. I think that just gets so messy.
Yeah.
I don't know how we even keep track of that.
If we went further south towards like the Delco property and past the two properties we're talking about, would that complete the loop?
No, Fieldstone is what we need to tie into to get the loop.
Well, I mean, if we just ran it down to Fieldstone, but because like, how does like the Delco property and the other properties, how do they get their water and
They're
sewer?
looped in the ridge.
They're looped
They're in
in
the ridge?
We don't need the loop. The loop would just be nice
Right.
right now. And that would help.
So you said that's a service coming off there where the three dashes are, right?
Yes.
Is that enough that it could go down just to service two for now? It's not enough.
Because there's not a water main. That's a,
1-inch water main.
It's just a 1 inch. No, it's just 1 inch.
and that's a really big driveway.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
And then curb
Oh,
and gutter
It's
and
a cement driveway too, isn't it? That's a cement driveway, yeah. And Nick, obviously the buyers are waiting to hear what's going on, I assume.
Yeah, they're not gonna be- I already came down for the dump, so.
And I assume without,
137 voices, but I started listening to a lot more.
yeah,
I was saying, which one is something? My lawyer said, you know, I can stay there for, since I have it for sale, clean out, they're not gonna want me to leave. Like, I don't, just, right, it's a big house for one person, right, it's on disability.
right,
I'm just trying to get money sold that lot.
yeah.
That's all that's gonna happen.
Do you have any, I mean, after seeing this, any ideas, thoughts on how we could,
Well, like years ago, when the people from the north made about my old house, when he was putting his mouse system in for the damn light, to hook in our stuff, it's my parents' house. That means when he was had to actually does for a living now that I built for two houses. So why couldn't, you know, when people that wanna buy the empty lot, or do they go and hook into the sewer, and put their own well, everybody else has their own well there.
yeah,
Save the city a lot of money by not messing around with it, because you don't have any houses on the west side.
Yeah.
You have to pay for the road and all that, so.
I think the sewer becomes an issue as it's in city.
well, in the well too.
Yeah, that's, did I say sewer? I think the well's an issue because of being in the city where with the wellhead protection and there, we can't have more wells being drilled that could contaminate the aquifer.
When's the last time you had a well at your parents' house? No, but like when, have you had to redo it at all?
It's just the bump
Oh. So it's kind of grandfathered as a,
Because when did the city take ownership of those two lots?
oh God.
probably around 2000. Right, 2010, 11.
So it was like a, kind of like a fix for whatever reason, we Band-Aided it in.
My
And-
brother owned it and it got the deed back to my parents originally. But then they had to bring in a septic system. Decided to go with the city for the sewer. Put that lift station. And just keep the well and be in the city there.
If I remember right, there were some agreements there to allow some of that.
Yeah, but I'm just
And-
saying, like, it was to fix, yes, a single issue. And there was some private funds that probably paid for that private connection to get put in. But this is a bigger picture that I don't think is ready to be solved yet. I mean, I wish I could just say, yeah, we'll pay for it, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point,
Well, for the first mortgage, it won't be so bad. I mean, it's happened my mom back. I mean, I have legally a year to stay there.
Yeah.
For the landlord. He said, "No, they're not gonna want me to move out. You pay it for the winter. As long as it's for sale." It's like, well, I'm like, we didn't need it.
right.
Paid electric bill and heat. I had money saved up, it's going out faster.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it to me. The stress is kind
Right.
So I'm sorry, did you say how much you were selling the lot for? I'm not, if you didn't already say it, I'm not asking you to say it,
I
but,
took an offer of 70,000, but started at
okay.
I don't know what.
I see what-
can do to make it work.
Well, I see what you guys are saying. If we don't end up annexing, we just spend a whole lot of money for nothing. Well, not for nothing, but
no, that's the hard part is I have to look at it as a whole city and unfortunately, I know that you're in a tough spot. And I'm not, it's just not a good financial decision for all. I don't think the rest of the residents of Mayor should have to pay for, right, but that's what where the money would come from. If the city paid for even that amount
and we can't
without assessing, and
we can't directional bore a shorter one up to Ridge Road and
I mean, even if you did a shorter one, I mean, I don't think it's gonna change the cost by like,
The other
Tons of
cost,
money.
We looked at directional drilling a pipe down the lot line where Ridge Road is there, but the costs are high. And the unknowns drilling between two houses
Hmm.
and then not knowing where that water service is, there's too many risks. And the costs are still high. It's not like it's half or anything. It's right up there at 100,000.
And then significantly more risk.
Yes.
So you feel, from your professional opinion, we've exhausted options. This is really our not only best option, but really our only option for now.
Yes.
Kyle, do you have any?
Yeah, I agree. It is the best option. If I was looping the water main, this is exactly how I would want it looped from Forest Street, then probably hydrant right here.
Yes.
Hydrant, then it right up, and then I connect the nice loop up by Fieldstone all the way back down. The service for the sewer pumps into a manhole. It's kind of right here in the roadway. We grab your feet that you or sanitary. So, yeah, ideally it'd be nice to come right through here.
so sewer is not an issue. It's strictly water.
Well, sewer, we have a force main right now, but it's only one force main and it's from our main lift station or straight out to our wastewater treatment plant. So taking on a grinder pump and a force main. Ideally, if we were to annex these properties in, it'd be great to get gravity. So we're not dealing with a pump in each basement. Gravity, I don't know how it would work out with elevation. But have a gravity line come up here and go either to Fourth Street or Fifth Street. It's definitely deep. Otherwise,
Yes, very deep on 4th Street.
it's very deep on Fourth Street. So,
Mhm.
but otherwise back up to 7th or 9th. Back up that way and around. So I don't know if you could split half the flow go one way, half the flow going on Fourth Street or something like that. But yeah, I've racked my brain about this, both these properties for the last couple weeks here, just, and it's one of those things where it's in the city limits. need to supply water to our residents because of wellhead protection and all that stuff. They can't, Minnesota Department of Health probably wouldn't allow a well to get drilled within our city limits. Otherwise, all residents would be drilling wells if they used enough water, you know, so. Yeah, it's kind of this is, in my mind, is kind of the best solution for now, but the sewer still kind of bugs me, I guess you could say.
All right, thank you.
So the original plan that was proposed to us by Martini, and that wouldn't work still without doing the 4th Street water?
No, because I think
Because there's
he,
no water
he had
there.
water coming out of Ridge Road and that's not an
I thought it was a
option.
water main. If it was a water main, yes, it'd be a heck of an option, but it's
I thought he showed it coming
just a supply line.
out of the other.
Oh, out of Fieldstone.
Yeah, and we were.
But then
and we-
we'd have to annex that properties
Right.
Right.
to run.
Yeah, but the annexation is a little bit more complicated. It's not just we're making them come in because we have an agreement with the
No,
township.
this is
We
gonna
have an
be
orderly
years of-
annexation with the township, so they would have to approve it, but still, it would solve their problem. We'd be in it for 140 and then,
Well, it'd be
How do we
more than
finance
that
it?
because it would,
Now we're talking, because we gotta do the road. We'll have to do the road, we'll have to
and
put
you'd
it
have to
all in.
then you'd have to do the line.
Curb
There's no
gutter,
line right
sewer,
there.
Water, yeah, I mean, you're talking,
well, I thought we didn't have to do the road.
we don't have to do it right away,
Right.
but
And we have city standards, we have to
Yeah.
get
Right.
it up to curb and gutter and.
I mean, you're
I'm
looking,
pretty sure if we were
I
gonna
mean,
rip up.
obviously only a guesstimate, $100,000 at minimum. Because it was 77 just for the water sewer.
Yeah, it's a lot of money per property.
140 that Martini proposed.
Each?
No, it was 140 for the whole
No,
sewer and water down the
No.
62nd
no.
No.
on September, what was it? Annexation.
I think so.
That's option B. If the city paid for 40% would be 147,000. The total estimated cost for this option is 368,000, which equates to a per lot assessment of 73,000. And that was,
That's not including the road.
yeah.
That was not the road.
And that's talking about, and then I don't believe that included paying the county whatever their fee is for the annexation, anything with
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah, that had nothing-
Um,
None of that was added in.
Give them a bunch of rain barrels, Nick.
So it was, if they had to pay it, if the homeowners had to pay it, it was 73,605. And then if we did the estimated where the city paid 40%, the homeowners had 44,000. And
That
the,
wasn't the road.
right,
That wasn't curb and gutter, and that's based on square footage. And some of these properties are quite large.
that was
And you
just a
don't have
per
the other
lot
side. You don't have the other side to cover.
to cover, yep.
So you're actually paying
Yep.
for the full, both sides curb and gutter.
Well, and that'll change a little bit because we got to buy back the easements and all that.
Well, this was just to put the the
Right,
water
right.
and,
But I
yes,
mean,
and
yeah,
then
there's
we-
a lot involved because they own the road and
yeah, and the road's not up to standards. Would we want to take it over and have to put all the money into it? And
there's a lot.
so where I'm on the email dated 8/22 titled water.
I feel like there's
8/22
gotta
I
be a
got
better way.
titled water.
Nick, I'm sorry, did you want to say something? I'm sorry. All right.
I believe we did an estimate coming off of Fieldstone. Does it make sense to you guys? I'm sorry, I'm not 100% familiar, but does it make sense that we're about 1,000 feet from Fieldstone connection?
Probably.
Oh,
Probably because it's
Probably.
probably running under
Kyle
60
probably has a better
or
idea.
70.
I think this is the estimate we did, and we were at 227. 227 to bring the line down.
Okay. Well, that's worse.
right?
We're going the wrong
That's,
way.
we didn't
But,
send you that one.
so couldn't we do that snub out thing though and assess all the properties it runs past? At some point, I mean, you know, because we talked about putting it in and then as there's, I mean, we could take the initial hit.
Yeah.
But there again, if this doesn't happen, we took all the hit.
But even if we did that, and they have to add in right now, we were talking, well, 70,000 if we paid, so now it's gonna be 140,000 for two properties.
Oh my God.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it's
so even if we
a
cut it
lot of
down,
money.
if we cut it down like we were hoping we could and only made it 40,000 each property, now they're looking at 80,000 for the two. Or at least for one, not necessarily that the one existing home would have to tie in right now because nothing's failed. So they don't necessarily have to, the existing home, but the empty lot would have, I mean, they're gonna have to, so they're gonna be in it for 70 grand. And that's, I mean, that's still, I mean, to even plan that, do it, get approved, make sure, I mean, we're a year down the road for that. That's
At minimum,
Yeah, that
That's
doesn't,
nothing right now. And you need a quick fix. You're not looking at something
Yeah.
9 months from now. Do you have any creative idea? Do you have any thoughts on how we can make something based on what you've heard? Nick, I'm just trying to, I don't know what else to do.
what are you looking for? Do you want this?
Total number. What was it?
Yeah.
So 822, look at water.
Yeah.
Oh, so have the city purchase the
Yeah.
lot for,
I think at this point, we need to continue to work, you know, we got to do something. I don't think we can do anything right now. I don't see anything happening right now. I don't know how we can do that. Yeah.
I mean, I think we can still put our thinking caps on and still
I think we
continue to
table it
like,
again.
I just table it and try to think of different options.
Okay. Yeah. I think we table it. I think we have another discussion on this and see if we've come up with other ideas in 2 weeks at our next meeting and see what else we can come with. You noodle it around. We're going to continue to, and we want to try to make this work.
220.
Yeah. Any more on this that we can add right now?
and there's, I mean, is there any way we can test the existing well on the property and tap into it for that lot?
No, because that's going against all our city ordinances stuff and I don't think the Department of Health would allow you to
No, but
use a double.
it's just not a new, what I'm saying is it's not a new well.
Well, that's where it comes back down to the problem of assuming these are the two, they're all in agreement now with the two properties, and what happens when someone else moves in and they don't like it and get out of here.
Right.
I'm unhooking you, I cut your line,
Right.
sorry, you suck, you know.
And, we solved the
Damn.
problem by letting them come into the city and now it's just kind of created kind of a cluster again. And so we're just creating more of a cobweb.
Yeah, we're just band-aiding a Band-Aid. and-
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's a bigger discussion that has to be had to make it a big,
Can we kick them back out to the township? Is that even an option? So that they could put a well in?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works, but let's talk
Yeah.
about it with
I
Luann.
can, okay.
Let's see if that's not, I don't know, my gut says no, but
I'm
I don't
just
know. I don't
spitballing
know. I think
anything
that's what we're
No, I
looking
mean,
for.
I know,
That's
but
what we
that's a
want.
creative,
because at least then they could put a well in and build a house he could sell as everybody's
What if the
happy.
Township says we don't want them.
I know.
yeah.
But no, I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
But I think they would. It's tax revenue.
We'd have to,
They could disconnect it.
yeah.
Not your problem at that point.
Let's pursue that. We'll talk to Luann.
Yeah.
Do you want to call Luann or one of you, do you want to
I
call
can.
her? Okay, why don't you talk to Luann on Wednesday and see what that is and have her send something out if it's feasible, if it's even a possibility.
Might as well ask. Worst they can say is no.
All right, anything else? Anyone else want to throw anything in before we close up? Nothing, Tad? All right, with that, let's put this on next, ad that we'll put on the next agenda, just so we can keep talking about it, keep discussing and see what comes up, and then we'll talk to Luann about that option of possibly reverse the annexation.
Well, I mean, I just, because I see the annexation of that whole street
Well, and then that makes sense.
being
when we
years
do
of
it
a
all.
disaster,
Do it,
and then they're all in,
do it all at
and
once.
it'll actually help them in the long run, because they'll be included even, well, not that they wouldn't be included, I guess, in the assessment either way, but
Yeah. Okay, with that, then we'll talk about it in 2 weeks. Perfect, thank you for showing up. And with that, we'll adjourn.
Do we have?
I'll be right back. Yeah. it's on
Checks?
my desk.
Checks.
We have to sign the.
It's right here.
completely off the wall.
No, actually, that's.
Oh.
That's the only way I can
Oh, he
see
didn't sign it, but you guys can sign it. Here.
easily, or the easiest resolution.
This one's all the way out then, right? Because Ridge Road is a no-go.
Correct.
So the other one was two what?
So maybe we take 2 more back.
Well, but then just with the extra fire department, like revenue towards, I mean, I don't know.
We just agree of it. It just, that's the hard part about this job. Is that people coming in where their toilet was running and it was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but I can't forgive everything because that's not fair. I can't pay for this.
No. I could call
Because of
Corner Township right now and ask, but- Probably should go to proper channels.
I know, but I don't need to.
It's an option, it's just a matter of at what cost and what trouble and. No, I know.
You want to?
You know me.
I know, but you can't, the city